What is going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. As you can see, we've got the Hellcat out behind me, and we're starting to get this thing ready to go to the Chrysler Nationals up in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. It's going to be my first year there, and I am super excited about it. Never been there before, and everybody keeps telling me how awesome this show is. I believe it's one of the biggest Mopar shows in the country, so if you guys are going to be out there, make sure to come find us and say hi. I will put some details at the end of this video so that you guys can find us a little bit easier. So, like I mentioned, we have a whole bunch of parts to put on this thing to try to dress it up a little bit. As a lot of you might know, it's been more in race mode lately. We haven't really been doing any shows with it, so all these parts have either been taken off or sitting on the shelf, and some of them are new parts. So let's go ahead and get through the intro, and then we will take a look at what we've got here. If you guys aren't already, don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell so that you get notified anytime that we put out a video with the GTO, the Duramax, or the Hellcat. Let's get right into today's video. Now that we've gotten through the intro, let's go ahead and take a look at some of these parts that we're going to be putting on today. 99% of them are all dress-up parts just to get it ready for this big show. We haven't really been showing the car much at all this year because we've been focused on drag racing. But like I mentioned, I've been trying to go to the Chrysler Nationals up in Carlisle for a few years now, and just it never worked out. So now that we're finally getting ready to go up there, I want to put all the parts that we have for this thing on here to make it look its best that it can look. So first off, the big piece in the back there is the windshield cowl, and I'll show you why we have a new one of those. It's just the original OEM Dodge piece. I'm not sure if you guys can see it in here, but all the rubber and stuff is just deteriorating. It's pretty junky, honestly. This car is a 17, and it's been doing that for a couple years now. So we wanted to go ahead and get that ordered and get it fixed, just because it bothers me, honestly, but also because it'll look a lot better. We were gonna send this piece out to get it hydro dipped, but we just never did. I think we're just gonna stick with the black, and we'll just shine it up a little bit. So then the next piece that we have here is this cover. I believe I got this one from 3G Customs. So we're gonna end up painting this a like black wrinkle texture, and then we'll do the SRT behind it in yellow. And I'm gonna try to do the wrinkle texture to somewhat match the blower here. If you guys have seen the GTO valve cover and catch can video where I did my custom valve covers, I used the wrinkle finish for that, and I really liked how it came out. So that's what we're gonna go with on this. The only bad thing with that is we are gonna have to remove this cover here. We can leave this one, but this one here will be in the way because that cover is gonna land right in here, which will work out good because I can drill a hole in it before we paint it so that we can mount the switch that we've got right here for our lights. This is a show switch so that when you're at a show, you can hit the button and your headlights will come on, just like that. And they will stay running until you click the button again, and obviously they still come on with the normal running of the car. So that is just a show switch, so we can go ahead and mount that up, so when we get to the show we can just pop the hood, hit the button, and the lights will be on and do whatever we set them to do. Next piece we've got here is this carbon radiator cowl, the upper cowl right here. Next thing we've got are these fuel rail covers. They go right above the valve cover. We got these a long time ago. They're nice yellow to match the car with the black lettering. Like those a lot. Not 100% sure if they are going to fit with our current setup with the new blower and everything, but if we can make them fit, awesome. If I have to customize them a little bit, we will, but I don't want to go cutting them all up. So that leads us to our next piece here. We've got some little carbon fiber trim pieces that go inside the car. Those are just like a stick-on style, and they actually look pretty good. Then we've got just a little coolant cover. It's going to go right over the coolant reservoir right there to match the intercooler one that we have over there. Was thinking about painting those yellow, but for now I think we're going to leave them black. And then just a little hood prop that lights up, so we should be able to set that up to go with the headlights. So I think that's going to end up looking pretty slick as well. So now that we've gone over all the parts, let's go ahead and decide where we want to start and start swapping some stuff out. So we went ahead and took the ABS cover out of here so that all this area is open, so we can go ahead and grab our new piece and do some test fitting here. Just going to go ahead and set it in here, make sure that everything's going to fit nicely how we'd like it. I'm gonna go ahead and play around with it and make sure I can get it to fit, and then we can mark where we want to drill our hole for the show switch, and then clean this thing up and get it ready to paint. So we just went ahead and set this in for a test fit real quick. I like it, so we're gonna go ahead and mark where we want to put our hole for the switch. I'm thinking I'm gonna do it somewhere right up in here, kind of tucked out of the way. I mean, it could honestly go anywhere over here, but I kind of like it somewhere right in there. I think that's what we're gonna go with. So let's go ahead and get this thing popped off, drill the hole, clean it up, prep it for paint, and spray it. Alright, so we got this thing cleaned up and ready for paint. Use some surface prep spray. We're going to go ahead and spray it with this wrinkle finish. Stuff comes out pretty good. I did it on that valve covers like I had mentioned before. But you've got to do 3 heavy coats, roughly 5 minutes apart or so. So we're going to spray it 3 times really heavy with this stuff. And then we'll let it dry for a while. We might set it out in the sun. You can also put it in the oven, but it'll make the finish like tighter. The wrinkles will be closer together. So I haven't decided on that yet, but let's go ahead and get this thing sprayed. All right, guys, so while we wait for that cover panel to dry, let's go ahead and start popping the cowl off this thing and get the new one ready to go on. I know for a fact that we're gonna have to pull all these plastic pins out. Got a couple of them loosened up already, like these things right here. You're gonna have to go ahead and pull these out for sure, and we will do that all the way down across this thing. There's quite a few of them. And then I went ahead and marked the wiper. I put a little scratch in it. You guys probably can't see it right there. And then I made a mark on the nut so that we can try to get it right back in the spot that it should be, which shouldn't be a problem anyways, but I decided to mark it. So we're gonna go ahead and get those pulled off and start putting this new cowl on. All right, guys, so we got that new cowl on. Looks pretty good. Looks a lot better than what was on there. Got the wipers back on, so that's good to go. This is the old one. You can tell it's just super faded. I mean, the car's a 17, so kind of surprised that that faded out so bad. And then look at this rubber. It's so brittle. Like if you fold it, it just falls apart. It's unreal. Car's not even that old. Stuff just falls apart. But that's another thing done. So now that that one's done, we can go ahead
and start on something else.
All right, guys, so another thing that we want to get done before we head up to Carlisle is we want to switch some tires around on the truck. I'll give you guys a peek here in a second at what I'm talking about, but the rear tires are really good tread on them, as always, but the front steer tires are a little bit worn down. So as you can see, the rear tires look pretty good, especially that inner dual. It looks damn near new. And then if you come up to the front here, you can see that these ones are pretty much worn right down. They have some tread in the middle, but not on the sides. And I've played around with all kinds of different tire pressures with these things to try to get them to wear evenly. We had it aligned when we first did it, and they just seem to wear out in the front more, which makes sense. Most of the weight is usually in the front when we're driving without a trailer. So instead of buying 2 new front ones for this thing, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to steal the inner rear duals and put them on the front rims so that we have some tread up front, and we will have plenty of tread on the outer dually, and then the inner dually will be a little bit more worn down. But the reason I want to do this is because I don't plan on sticking with these tires much longer. I want to get a set of 6 for this thing, of something that's a little bit more streetable and quieter, and just drive a little bit better on the highway for all the traveling that we've been doing and towing the trailers. So we might as well steal the inner dually and use that up front. I don't think it's going to hurt anything. There's plenty of single wheel trucks running around on just 1 of these tires in the back, 2 of these tires in the back. So I think it's going to work out just fine for us, especially for now. So let's go ahead and finish getting this thing jacked up and get these tires switched around. All right, guys, so we got the tires all switched around. Came out pretty good. Think it's going to work out just fine. Now obviously we've got a lot more meat up front, and our rear outer dually still has plenty of tread, but the inner is the old front. So I think that's going to work out fine for now. It's going to work out for this upcoming weekend, and it also buys us a little bit more time to decide on what we want to put for new tires on this thing. So now that this thing's done, we can move it out of the way and get back to getting the car ready. All right, guys, so we let this thing dry for a few days, and it came out pretty decent. The yellow isn't a perfect match. I'm waiting for some vinyl to come in, and we'll redo that when the time comes. And then the wrinkle is a little bit heavier here. There was a bug in it, sadly, that I had to get out and then spray that area again. So it wrinkled a little bit different. Kind of mad about that, but other than that, I think it looks pretty good. I think it's going to look good in here with the blower finish. So let's go ahead and get this thing thrown on. Well, guys, we got that installed. I think it looks pretty sweet. Still want to get some vinyl to match the yellow of the car, but I think it looks a lot better than not having it on there at all. We got our switch installed right here, so you can click this switch and it will turn the headlights and our show lights on, and then we can control them from our phone and make them do whatever colors we want. So that's going to be handy, so we can just click it if we're going to walk away for a while or leave it for a while. But definitely looks a lot better hiding all those wires. Sucks that we can't use our ABS cover that we had made, but we'll hang on to it. You never know. So now we are ready to move on to the next piece, which I think we're going to figure out what we want to do with this carbon fiber cowl and get that thing installed. Alright, guys, I think it looks pretty sweet. Like I mentioned before, we've got these decorative pieces that can go where the original clips would have been in the cowl. They just go like that. And I personally like them, but the problem is the nutserts and stuff that they sent are the wrong size for these holes. I did get some other ones, but I don't have any polished Allen head bolts for them. So sadly, I'm not positive what we're going to do there yet. The nutserts will fit in these 2 holes, so I'm going to go ahead and get those done, and then we'll decide if we're going to drill all these out, or I think what I honestly might do for now is just set them in there, and then at least we can bring it to the show like that, and it'll still look good, and then we can figure it out later when we get home. I don't really want to just put the plastic clips back in there because it looks too nice for that. They kind of take away from it. So let's go ahead and get the nutsert tool out, and we will start riveting those in. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and nutsert this first one. All right. So that one should be good now. All right, so we got it pretty much set up how it's going to be for the show. We've got the lights going, all different colors. I can set them to go together. I just wanted to see what it would look like with them jumping all different. Then we've got the hood prop set up here. We put the 428 sticker on, and I set this Whipple sticker here. Not sure if I'm going to place it there or not, but I just wanted to see how it looks. I kind of like it. Then we got our coolant tank cover on, and I put the cap back on it. Looks a little bit better. Still haven't decided if we're going to paint those or not yet. For now, I think they look fine with the black. And then we set those fuel rail covers on there. Obviously, we could not get them down into the place where they belong. It's just not going to happen with our combo. So I set them up there. I'm kind of digging it. Not sure if I'm going to place them on there for the show or not, but as of right now, I think we are. The only thing on the outside left to figure out is if we're going to put the splitter back on. I do have a splitter for this car. It used to be on it a long time ago, and I ended up taking it off because we went to the track with it one day, and going down the track at high speed, it was actually at the roll races, it would start vibrating really bad and make the whole front of the car shake. So not sure if that's going to go back on. I do like how it looks, so we might put it back on if we get some time. But until we decide on that, let's go ahead and start working on the inside of the car. We've got to get all those carbon fiber overlays done and then wrap this thing up. So I decided that we're going to go ahead and hold off on doing the carbon overlays here. I just wasn't happy with how it was fitting up, and I didn't want to stick it if I wasn't going to like it. So I think I'm going to hold out and try to find a real carbon fiber piece to replace this with. But other than that, this is pretty much how the interior is going to be sitting, and this is how it's going to go up to the show. Not a whole lot going on the inside of the car. But other than that, really the only thing left is the splitter, and I'm still undecided on that, so we're gonna hold off. I'll probably end up deciding right before we load it on the trailer like usual, and then we will go from there. Probably just slap it on last minute. That thing's super easy. But I wanted to go ahead and show you guys the map for Carlisle and let you guys know where you can find us. So we've got the map laid out here. We're gonna be in section Y445, which is right there, and we're gonna be car number 1965. So if you guys are going to be out there, make sure to stop by and check us out. I'd love to see you guys, and I'd love for you guys to come check out the car. As always, guys, I appreciate you for checking out the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and ring that bell, and we will catch you on the next one.